back to another episode of Lou and Mo Podcast. How you guys doing out there? Good? Good.
Great, wonderful.
Oh, how you doing?
If you're not, hopefully after you listen to us, you'll be doing better.
Yeah. Trust me.
So like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. Also check out Real Talk with Mo.
Check out CB
We're
Lifestyle.
gonna be coming out with a new one this year too for Lou. We don't have a name yet.
Yeah.
Maybe if you want to comment and give him a name or what you think his podcast should be called, his video, his YouTube channel. Let us know.
We're on Instagram. I'm on Instagram.
On Instagram, follow him. And then also www.cblifestyleandapparel.com. Check me out. You know what I mean? So we're gonna get into some topics today. You know, I always bring up in my videos. I try to
All the time, bro.
all the time.
And
6
characteristics.
characteristics.
You always mix them up. You're like, I forget.
Yeah, I forget them, but I started to remember them now.
All right,
So
all right.
6 characteristics of humans is we're all lazy, greedy, ignorant, vain, ambitious, and selfish.
Right. And there's pretty much no avoiding it. And even if you tried to debunk it, you can't.
You
'Cause
can't.
always
You're
find
gonna find a way to.
Yeah.
That you have those characteristics. You just people have them at different levels. Like
Like
some
the
people
dude
are
said,
really
he was
greedy.
like, if you're gonna try to even kill yourself jumping off a bridge,
It's the best thing for you.
It's the best thing.
You
for
think
you.
it's the best thing for you
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah.
So that would
it's
be
it's better. This world's better off
ambitious.
without me.
You think that'd be ambitious?
That'd be ambitious,
Yeah.
yeah.
You think like it's gonna be better without you.
Without you.
Or greedy. We just all at different levels. So I always try to put that out there. And so we're gonna dig into it a little more from
Each
our
one of
view.
those little things are deeper than it is. So a lot of this stuff too is word association. So some words that we use and some things that we say, we just say them, or we hear them and we pick it up. Like it could be something as simple as the word boundaries. You hear the word boundaries, and to you it's just like, oh, okay, well, but maybe I just don't need to say things around this guy as much or as often. But it's not that. Boundaries is more set for somebody's self-respect, somebody who wants to be respected, or somebody who wants to be treated properly by another human, right? So overall, you're respecting their boundaries. So it goes deeper than just a word, and that's a lot of what we're about to do. So what the first topic would be more self-awareness. A lot of times in my life, if I wasn't self-aware, I found myself in a really, really shit position, a really bad spot. And overall, I thought that maybe I wasn't as self-aware as I was because I wasn't catching certain things around me. I try to pay attention to a lot of different things, a lot of different scenarios around me. I even overthink a lot of the time. But overall, like, it's smarter to be self-aware than not. So if when you're living your life and you're going through, it could be the simplest, smallest thing, like picking out some curtains, or it could be down to the biggest thing, like a transition from a new job or a new lifestyle, whatever it is that you're planning on doing. It could even be setting up a trip. Being self-aware on the fact that you know the trip is in Mexico and it might be a little bit dangerous, or exactly what to pack. But being self-aware enough of yourself. The problem is a lot of people are not looking at themselves enough. They look on the outside and they look at everybody else around them instead of thinking about what makes them tick, really dissecting their own brain, going into what makes them work, answering this specific, and I like to call it the why. Everybody has a why do I act like this? Why do I think this way? Why do I do it like this? And catching on to some of the things that you may be. I mean, all humans are flawed. So I try to catch on to all my flaws. And even sometimes I can't help it and it comes out of my mouth or something happens and I'm like, what? I think later, like, damn, why did I do it? And it's not necessarily thinking too much about what the other guy's thinking of me, right? It's me thinking of the person that I want to become or the person that I want to be perceived as, period. And I want to be a certain person in this world, and it's very important for you to be able to be self-aware enough to know so you don't wind up in a bad position. There's so many spots. I was living in a hotel we used to call it the hometel with, I'd say, 15 friends just to get out of our parents' houses. And we lived there for a while, and I could have legitimately stuck there for a very long time because it was super cheap. We had all the things that we wanted to do was always around us at all times. We were crazy. We had some great times, so it's not completely negative. It was a transition from being kids and being teenagers to transitioning to adults and finding out what we wanted to do with our lives. And that was a good 2-year span that we were there. But when I started noticing danger, when I started noticing elements of drugs or more fighting or just a consistent danger around me, I decided this is not for me. I had to move on and do something else. But months later, everything that I predicted or that I felt it was going to happen, it all happened. People went to jail, people got in trouble, a lot of things that really, really got really bad. But if I wasn't self-aware enough about my position, I'm like, I don't want to be associated with any of this. regardless of what anybody thought. And thankfully, I got out of the situation. That's just one example. And what about you? Self-awareness was?
Yeah, self-awareness to me is I think it's just learning your like learning your habits and learning your like biases and stuff like that. Like I was talking to them yesterday about, we live in South Florida, so I don't know where most people are from.
Yeah.
But I was saying when you ride down the street and you see a pickup truck with big wheels on it, jacked up, who you think is driving the truck?
Yeah.
Right? And you'll come to your conclusion about who's driving it, and I come to mine, and we just see that. Or we see a car with big rims on it, right? Old school car, we automatically think who's driving that car. So being self-aware of that, you have those biases and that you see things, like you could just see something or somebody could mention something that somebody is doing something, right? Like you hear on the news that, just like with Florida Man, right? You hear on the news that somebody raised the alligator in their house, and you're like, oh, Florida Man, right? Because that's just your biases, and you got to be self-aware of those out when you're out in the world too. I think self-aware is just, like, you don't just go to what your first thought is, because you didn't even think about, unless you thought about why you think the way you think.
Right.
If you thought about that, then you're more in tune to to go with what's right, if that's something that you want to stand for or whatever. So I think being self-aware is it's like you said, it's just knowing why you think the way you think. And a lot of people are too lazy, I think, to even dig into it. They just think it's either the way they were raised, their parents, their culture. They think that that's the way it is.
Tradition,
religion, whatever it is, they want to stick to it, and they just think that that's the way it is. But if you thought about it and that's the way you want to be, then fine. I just think people should think more about it. Like, why do I think the way I think? Like, why do I like these certain things? Or why do I go this certain way with certain ideas? Or why am I so tied to my job? Or why am I so, wanting to be in a relationship?
Loyal
to this,
whatever
or blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, just question it. That's all. And I think that helps with self-awareness.
I'll be honest with you. Some of the most important conversation that you're ever going to have with anybody you ever meet is the conversation you have with yourself. So, I mean, it's maybe you've never haven't been through this situation yet where you have to question yourself and have to actually dig deep and reconstruct this in here a little bit. But overall, like, it's legitimately, there's so much distraction these days. Cell phones, YouTube, everything's super easily accessible. Entertainment is it's like it's in the palm of our hands. But it's in some cases, not saying it's all bad, but in some cases it's a distraction to figure more out about yourself and have a conversation with yourself and really think about why you think the way you do and answer your own why question. So most important conversation you ever have is with you.
With yourself. I'm gonna put on a shirt.
Put on the shirt.
I'm not gonna give you any money off.
Yeah, I'm
shirt,
good.
though.
You can have it.
I'll say inside though.
I'm saying.
All right.
So the